but there is one part of it that's left me feeling a little bit concerned, and that is the lack of theming around the area itself. How's it going? It's Rob. So if you've watched my past few videos, you'll know I've covered quite a bit about Alton Towers rides and updates for this season, but don't for a second think I've forgotten about a pretty major coaster coming to Thorpe Park this year. The UK's tallest and fastest roller coaster, Hyperia, which will officially be opening this year on May the 24th. The countdown is on and there is a lot to be excited about. I personally can't wait to ride it. That being said, there's a few things about the project and the construction itself that have left me feeling a little bit concerned. Kind of. Firstly, please make sure to like this video if you do enjoy it, and if you want to see more content like this from me in the future, make sure you subscribe. Also, I got a lot of positive feedback on potentially doing a giveaway on my channel very soon, with a chance to win one of these opening day Nemesis Reborn posters. So stay tuned to the end of this video to find out more details about this giveaway and how you can enter and win. So Hyperia's construction is officially complete, and they've put up the black sight walls now, which indicates that ride testing is going to be imminent. Now, landscaping has started taking place around the area and they've started fitting in the queue line, so we're going to get a bit more of a clearer idea as to sort of how the area is going to look in the coming month. As mentioned, I am really excited for the ride's opening. Unfortunately, I won't be there on opening day. I'm actually on holiday that day, but as soon as I'm back in the UK, it's the first thing I'm going to be doing. I'm not sure if it currently has the same hype as Nemesis Reborn's opening. I think they're pretty close. I know a lot of people in the community are really excited for Hyperia, but having witnessed how Nemesis opening day was, I can imagine it being quite similar with how busy it is, and the queue times for the ride will probably be somewhat similar. But I can't wait to get on it, ride it, give you my personal thoughts and a full in-depth review of the ride itself. The ride's going to be great. There's a lot of elements on it that are going to be out of this world, but there is one part of it that's left me feeling a little bit concerned, and that is the lack of theming around the area itself. Don't get me wrong, the fact that we're getting a ride of this magnitude in the UK, of its sheer scale, how fast it's going to be, the elements on it, the first drop's going to be insane, and the fact that it's only an hour drive from my doorstep is even better. I'm sure I will be riding it a lot, but as of now, there's been no real confirmation that we're going to get that sort of standard level of theming that we would normally expect from an attraction from Merlin. But from first looks from the ride's construction, it's sort of looking that it's not going to be that way. What we do know from the newly refurbished Hyperia rooms at the Thorpe Park accommodation is that there will be some form of backstory to the ride. On one of the doors in the room itself, it sort of gives a long overhaul of Hyperia and the sort of origin story of that, and I think we'll probably learn a bit more of that in the queue line and maybe in the station. What's left me a little bit confused, as we know Merlin like to go sort of over the top with their theming. As of recent projects like Nemesis, The Curse, World of Jumanji, they've sort of left no stone unturned with the level of theming in those areas, and that's why I'm feeling just a little bit concerned that this ride isn't going to feel like what we're used to. Like I say, this has been the direction that Merlin have been going for a while now, with, you know, heavily theming rides. So however, it's looking like that won't be the case with Hyperia. As most of you know, Thorpe Park haven't built a new roller coaster since the Swarm opened in 2012, which is over 10 years. So with this being their first sort of big investment in a coaster since then, it's a little bit of a shame to me that it feels that we might be getting a ride that could go in any park, because it doesn't feel like it's going to be designed with that level and care to the, like I mentioned, the other sort of projects that we're used to Merlin building. I am fully aware of the fact that this is probably the last project that was built off of the era of Nick Varney, and I think the focus of this project was more to be focused on attracting a younger audience based on the coaster's sheer size and them shocking elements that it has, rather than the theming that goes around it. That being said, Nick Varney is no longer CEO at Merlin. With Scott O'Neill taking charge, it does beg the question, you know, what does this look like for Thorpe Park's future when it comes to future projects? Will they be heavily themed again, or are they going to go down this road of sort of being branded and stylized rather than, you know, having an immersive theme? But that's a question for another video. But the main point that I have is that this is the first real coaster that's been built in over 10 years, so in my head I thought they would have spent the time and the money to make this pretty much be the best experience it ever could be. Like I say, the ride itself is absolutely insane. If you see it in person, the sheer scale of it compared to every other ride at Thorpe Park next to Saw It completely dwarfs it. The speed you're going to get up to on there, the gut punch from the first drop, it's going to have the splash down, it's going to have that insane banking element. There's a lot going for this ride on the ride itself, so I sort of do get that being the focus of the ride. I do also appreciate the ride isn't actually finished. There is still a lot of construction left to do, so, you know, they could be putting in more theming pieces as they go, but I think the way it's looking now, that isn't going to be the case. If we take a look at what's already been built, looking at the station itself, it's not very inspiring. It looks very boxy, very plain, and what they've got on the side is just branding pieces. It's got Be Fearless in a nice black font. It's got the Hyperia wings, which again look nice. I would have preferred if they were a bit bigger, but it just looks a bit more afterthought. What can we put on there rather than a thematical station building that, you know, has been thought out, and, you know, with the backstory of the ride, it could have been more mythical, because I think that's the main premise of what the ride's going to be. Inside the station, we don't actually know what's going to be in there, so they could be doing a bit more theming or adding effects as you're going in and out of the station. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what they do with that when it opens. Maintenance shed is just black. I'm assuming they're going to do probably some form of signage or something over it like they have done with other aspects. If it would just be fearless or playing on that tagline or their logo, I would assume they'd do something like that. We also know there's going to be a really big entrance sign that's going to have Hyperia and obviously the gold wings. It's going to be quite big. That could be quite impressive, which I'm actually looking forward to see, because I do really like the branding and the logo itself, and I think walking under that with the big wings actually could look really cool. I would also assume around the queue lines that they're going to have something there. What that is, I don't know. They might have TVs that, you know, run a bit more of a backstory that hypes you up towards the ride. I can't imagine they're going to have real much theming within the queue line or any props. There's been no plans to you know, put anything in there as far as I'm aware. Something else that's a bit of a shame to see is that on the initial plans there was going to be a little plaza you could walk down where the splash zone is that would have offered some really great views that you wouldn't normally get from just walking past the ride, but it has been confirmed that that's no longer going to be there. We're just going to have the main plaza that you can walk around, but you're not going to get them really cool sights that you would see. The only way you're going to see them now is if you're on the ride itself, which is great if you're riding it. I mean, you're going to be seeing it really quick because it's a really fast ride, but, you know, for people who aren't going to go on the ride, it's a shame they'll probably miss out on those views. Pretty much every other ride in the park has like a walkthrough where you can see the rest of the ride. Bar Saw, you can pretty much see the ride from all angles around their plaza. Think of Colossus, the Swarm. So yeah, it's a shame we won't be getting that, but, you know, what can be done. And as said, with that, you are going to get crazy views throughout the park anywhere you stand, really. The ride's so big, so wherever you're standing, you're going to get a good view of it. Again, from this conversation, there's been no real confirmation that there's not going to be any theming, or there's no plans to add more theming down the line. As I mentioned, there's going to be a backstory to it that we're aware of. Are they going to make some theming to tie in with that? From what I've seen, I can't see it happening for opening day. It's very much a stylized ride, which I feel like it's going to be similar to Icon in that respect. It relies a bit more on the branding and the fonts, as I've mentioned, that we've seen on other rides. Like, I'm not saying it has to be the same, but obviously the Swarm has all the aeroplanes and different little props around the ride that really sell you on that immersive experience. As I mentioned, opening day is just around the corner, and I don't know if it was planned or if it was always going to open up on this day. It very may well have been, but I think it's quite smart to have not done it on the same opening day as Nemesis. This way it gives Hyperia its sort of own time to shine and doesn't take away from Nemesis's opening day, and, you know, Nemesis wouldn't take away from Hyperia's. So I do think it's going to be really exciting and really busy on opening day. I can't wait to see all the videos and people's experiences of the ride, and as mentioned, as soon as I'm back in the UK, I'll be on it first things, leaving you my full in-depth review and honest opinion. With all that said and done, I do think Hyperia is going to be a classic at Thorpe Park, and it is going to be a huge success. I think it's going to be a staple ride for many years to come. It's completely changed the way the landscape of Thorpe looks. If you look at the skyline now, you can't miss it. You've seen people on planes that have, you know, been 100 feet up in the air and you can still see it. So it definitely is a positive change for Thorpe. It's just a shame about the theming, but, you know, what can be done? That leads me to pass the question over to you. Do you care about theming when you're riding the roller coaster? Do you care if it has little to no theming at all? Let me know, as I am really interested in what you all think on that. For those of you who are interested in winning this Nemesis opening day poster, all you've got to do is firstly make sure you subscribe to this channel, give us a follow on X and Instagram. Let us know when you've done that in the comments, and as soon as we hit 500 subscribers, that's when we're going to be announcing the winner. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled on future videos for the announcement once we've hit 500. We've just recently passed 250, so a massive thank you to all of you who have subscribed already. Please make sure to like this video if you did enjoy it, and make sure you subscribe if you want to enter in the giveaway, or if you just want to see more of my content in the future. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.